Welcome to the Transmasculine Trainer Series. The Transmasculine Trainer Series is a growing collection of downloadable workout guides that aim to center the specific needs of gender-diverse, masculine-presenting folks. If you have tried to engage in fitness, but have become discouraged because you don't see folks who look like you, or you can't seem to find trainers who know how to support your unique needs, this series may be for you. If you are a person who has tried to start a home workout program, yet you don't know where to begin, this series may be for you. This series was designed to help support folks who have historically not felt welcome in fitness spaces. This is not a series that celebrates one type of body over another. This is not a series that equates thinness or muscularity to healthy. This is a series to hopefully help you to utilize movement in ways that work best for your body.
Hi, my name is Rocco, and I use they, them pronouns, and I have a pretty wide range of experiences in group classes, fitness programs, gyms, things like that, that go back several years, and including playing sports as a teenager and things like that. I would say right now I mostly gravitate toward group classes. I really like the energy. I like the dispersed energy of a trainer, that they're not like focusing their attention directly on me. I would say that group classes like also come with their own set of problems. Oftentimes they're predominantly white, depending on the type of classes that I'm taking, and oftentimes I'm getting misgendered a ton by both the trainers and the people I'm working out with. There's a ton of negative food talk. There's a ton of negative body talk, which just makes me really uncomfortable to be around. A lot of times in fitness spaces there is just anti-fat sentiment just being like talked about like it's nothing. When I'm in those spaces, it's also like very heavily gendered, so sometimes there'll be like specific workouts like you do this if you're a woman and you do this if you're a man, and I really just don't fit in to either of those categories. So that's super uncomfortable for me. Oftentimes there are competitions based on your gender. So those are some of the reasons that I feel really uncomfortable in those situations. So I tend to gravitate toward the people that I feel safe with. I mean, I like look for them and I find them, whether it's because they're a person of color, because they're queer and trans. I have the ability to like seek out those people and kind of stick with them. So that feels good. I would say like years ago when I first started working out, like many people, it was for weight loss, and that kind of got pretty old very fast, and just felt like a sort of like uphill battle that I was never going to win. And then it quickly shifted once I started doing strength training to wow, like this feels really good for my body, and I really like just seeing what my body can do and what it is capable of. And then shifted again to how it is now, which is I like to work out and I like to move because it makes me feel good in my body. It's anti-anxiety, it's anti-stress, and I just like to feel like I'm in my body, I'm aware of what's going on. So it's a really just good way for me to check in and kind of tap into what I'm currently feeling. So yeah, I've been pretty lucky to have positive experiences working out and being in fitness spaces. And one of the ways in which I've been lucky is that I actually have had an opportunity to be trained by people who are queer, who are trans, who are people of color. I live in a pretty big city, so finding people who identify as such is not that difficult for me. So when I have people who reflect me, I can feel seen, I can feel heard, I feel respected, and I honestly just don't have time for any other S. So,
Hey, my name is Shea Martin. My pronouns are they, them. I am a queer, fat, black, non binary person who is based in the mountains of southern Vermont. For me, movement is all about exploring possibility and seeking to push boundaries with my own body. I love the pleasure that I get from being able to bend and move in ways that I didn't think were imaginable. When I think about, my most affirming experiences moving my body or in fitness, they've come, in the weight room or on the football field. I used to play tackle football, and I really enjoy the power that comes when I am pushing my body to the limits. So with strength, with speed, and agility. As a fat, black, queer person, I've had a ton of experiences that haven't been affirming, where I felt like my body maybe was too much, too big, too queer, too black for spaces. But I really feel like the most affirming ones have been when people are around me, communities around me, that is seeing that I am able to do great things and there to support me as well.
Hey, my name is Taylor Cheng, and I use they, them pronouns. And I think experience that I've had in fitness spaces is the fact that for a long time I didn't think it was possible to be transgender and partake really in fitness, or it was okay for me to take up space in gyms and fitness spaces. For some context, I identify as transgender non-binary, and I have played sports all my life, but mostly I played women's lacrosse in college, and I loved that experience. It's actually where I first fell in love with weightlifting. But it wasn't until after I left college that I really realized that I could possibly be a trans athlete and take up space. I just never really thought about it because I never really saw anyone that looked like me. I never really saw anyone compete who identified as trans, and I wasn't sure what that looked like. I've never competed before, but something that I have always felt is, as someone who is non-binary and as someone who has never had any type of gender-affirming surgery or ever been on hormones, I've always felt a little bit pressured to be leaner in order to look more masculine, or put on more muscle in order to look more masculine, or to shy away from the parts of me that might look more feminine. And I think that's always been a struggle, is, thinking about what society sees as masculine or feminine and kind of shaping my body to fit those molds. And I realized that I don't necessarily have to do that, and that I can use fitness and movement and weightlifting as something to show me what my body can do. But I do think that it's been a struggle to come to terms with that, because that's how kind of the world sees trans people sometimes. It's that you either pass or you don't pass. And as someone who identifies as non-binary, I'm not trying to pass. I'm just trying to exist and live, and I like lifting, and I like fitness, and I like gyms, and I think I now find more value in what my body can do and what my body can lift instead of what my body can look like. But I do think that it's taken me a little bit of time to get to that point where it's more important to me about what my body can do and less about what my body looks like.
My name is Lucky Alexander, and I go by he, him, his, and Superman pronouns. My experience with fitness, with working out, with gyms, with movement as a whole has been very interesting throughout my transition. And so at the beginning of my transition, about 20 years ago, I was playing football. I was training to play football with the guys, and I wanted to be just as good as anybody else. So I had to train twice as hard because of the way that my body functioned. Now here I am 20 years later, and I'm on T, and I've had top surgery and whatnot. It looks very different because age plays a factor, because how I feel in my skin plays a factor. All of those different things play a factor in what movement looks like for me. And so now, age being one of those, I move a lot slower, and I may be very more deliberate about my steps. I may be more intentional about how I move, right? But I think that movement has come easier since I've been on testosterone. Movement has become easier since I became authentic in my skin and in my personhood, right? I think that I just want to be healthy in my body. So, I try to make as much movement throughout the day as possible. I do have a sit down, at a computer type job. So movement is very important to me. I take daily walks. But going to gyms has historically been a no-go for me because of all of the experiences that I've had before going to gyms and being stared at and asked all the stupid questions and felt like, or it made to feel like I wasn't supposed to be there. So even now, as 20 years later, I still don't go to gyms. I still don't deal with other people when it comes to movement and fitness and being healthy. I do a lot of my workouts at home, and I spend most of those workouts, working on me and my health.
Namaste. My name is Elay. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him. I'm a trans-masc yoga instructor. Some of my favorite things to do after having top surgery are heart openers. So just even bringing the arms back like this, kind of like caving the chest and opening it, can feel really good. Another favorite move of mine is just opening the arms to the side. You're getting into this side channel here in the arms. Energetically, there's a lot going on. It links right to your heart, so it's good to open up. And remembering to tune into the breath is really important in yoga, because when you use the breath, it helps you transition and get deeper into the muscles and the stretch rather than staying stuck in that hard spot that you might find yourself initially. So movement can obviously be difficult for fat trans-masc folks, especially because a lot of our society encourages us to, lose weight or conform to a certain gender expression or identity, and that's not necessary. So heart openers, like reaching the arms up, maybe taking a little back bend, moving with the breath. Feels good to be in the body and be at your center, not so strained and pulled by these outside distractions, but really centered here in yourself, in your true self. Another favorite thing I love to do is just tap my chest. It feels so good. So try that. It helps with the technology thing we're doing a lot of these days. Thanks for joining. Om Shanti.